William Allen here for GetMoreSports.com, and Pitt has hired a new coach. That new coach, though, is a little bit of a surprise for much of the college basketball world. Now, Kevin Stallings had a nice run at Vanderbilt at times. In 17 seasons, he only makes 2 Sweet 16s. He never wins a conference title. Now, that's not necessarily something to completely admonish him about. In the SEC, Vanderbilt is clearly a step below the likes of Florida, the likes of Kentucky. You certainly equate into their Tennessee, even Alabama, at times Ole Miss, at times Mississippi State. But that's the reality for Vanderbilt in the SEC. That's the reality for Pitt in the ACC. This is why so many across the country are shaking their heads in disbelief that Pitt hired Stallings. It's not that Stallings can't coach. He's a good coach. In my opinion, one of the more underrated offensive minds in the country. Certainly he pioneered the use of the three-point shot in the SEC in terms of he recruited wings and point guards who could go create their own shots off of the dribble. He's had a steady flow of good big men in that program as well, but the focus has always been on that team's ability to shoot from beyond the arc. So in that respect, I think he's one of the pioneers in that conference. However, he simply hasn't gotten it done to the level that someone like Pitt should be looking at, because Pitt and Vanderbilt are very similar jobs in the way they function within their conference. And the fact that Stallings could not gain enough momentum within the SEC to take Vanderbilt to that next step, particularly as of late, has to be concerning for a fan base that just watched their coach leave. And quite frankly, they watched him leave and weren't too upset about it, but they watched him leave and they wanted him to leave because of his lack of recent success. And you're hiring a coach that is basically in the same situation with his fan base. This does not make sense whatsoever. Biggest head scratcher of the season, of the offseason so far.